Hello and welcome to the Daily English News program on Azərbaycan Televiziya. I'm Gülər Hətamova. The Memorandum of Understanding on Information Exchange between the Government of the Republic of Azerbaijan and the Secretariat of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, Kyoto Protocol and Paris Agreement signed in Baku on 4 September 2024 and in Bonn on 9 September 2024 was approved. President İlham signed the decree to this end. After the Memorandum of Understanding mentioned in Part 1 of this decree comes into effect, the President designated of the 29th session of the Conference of the Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change COP29, the 19th session of the Meeting of the Parties to the Kyoto Protocol and the 6th session of the Meeting of the Parties to the Paris Agreement must ensure the implementation of its provisions, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Azerbaijan must send a notification to the Secretariat of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, Kyoto Protocol and Paris Agreement stating that the necessary domestic procedures for the memorandum's entry into force have been completed. On the eve of COP29, the preliminary meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change kicked off. The two-day event is dedicated to the theme Raising Ambitions and Ensuring Actions. President İlham appeal to the participants of the conference was read out by COP29 President Muhtar Babayev.
Distinguished ministers, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the pre-COP29 in Baku. Climate change affects all countries across continents, with the small, island developing nations being the most vulnerable. It adversely impacts livelihoods globally and impedes the progress towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Azerbaijan is not an exception. Each year we see decreasing water levels in our rivers while the Caspian Sea is shrinking. Azerbaijan also faces water scarcity. Azerbaijan takes bold steps to overcome these challenges. At the national level, we're successfully implementing our socio-economic priority of clean environment and green growth. Azerbaijan has announced 2024 as the Green World Solidarity Year. Our abundant wind and solar potential enable us to advance renewable agenda. The liberated Karabakh and East Zengezur declared green energy zones host sufficient renewable sources. Azerbaijan also invests revenues from oil and gas productions in green energy. This clearly demonstrates that being rich in fossil fuels does not prevent us from our strides towards promoting green agenda. As a country that accounts for only 0.1% of global greenhouse gas emissions, Azerbaijan sets an example how even smaller emitters can make significant contributions to combat climate change. Our determination to support global climate action led us to bidding for the COP29. I consider the unanimous support extended to Azerbaijan as a sign of the international community's trust in our country. We are proud that the first COP in the South Caucasus and the wider region will take place in Azerbaijan. Although we had less than a year ahead, we took full responsibility and made considerable achievements. An inclusive COP29 organizing committee that involves women, parliamentarians and civil society representatives ensures smooth preparations to the Baku COP. Guided by the slogan "In Solidarity for a Green World," the COP29 presidency has been engaging with all stakeholders in a constructive spirit and transparent manner, conducting numerous visits and listening to all to take their concerns into account. We have prioritized addressing the challenges posed by climate change to the small island developing states. Azerbaijan considers helping the states as a moral duty and supports them both financially and politically, including through the Commonwealth. To provide continuity of efforts, UAE, Azerbaijan and Brazil in their capacities as the presidencies of COP28, COP29 and COP30 respectively have launched Climate Troika. Azerbaijan has elaborated an ambitious action agenda comprising 14 initiatives on a range of issues such as peace, finance, human capital, water, to mention just a few. The call for COP truce gets even more relevance amid the current geopolitical tension. It is worth mentioning that a significant progress has been achieved in operationalization of the Loss and Damage Fund in Baku this September. Yet the major task ahead of us is to agree a fair and ambitious new collective quantified goal that meets the needs of the developing, least developed and small island developing states. The new finance goal requires a substantial increase. Neither Azerbaijan in its capacity of the COP29 presidency nor any other state can take decision on behalf of others. Our role is to provide platform for facilitating negotiations which we believe we have been fulfilling impartially. Innovative Shamahi retreat initiated by Azerbaijan can serve as an effective informal format for further advancing climate tasks. As we are entering into the final stage of preparations to the COP29, I call on you to engage constructively and in good faith for the sake of humanity. While states have common but differentiated responsibilities, they should put aside disagreements, stop blaming each other and find common ground. We cannot afford to waste time on defining who is guilty for global warming or who caused more environmental harm. As it has been highlighted on numerous occasions, the Baku COP will be a litmus test for multilateralism. The international community cannot fail and should make a deal on the NCQG. It is my expectation that a historic agreement, the Baku Accord, will be reached at the COP29, which will go down in history as our collective success. Here, I cannot but touch upon the smear campaign by some media outlets aimed at tarnishing Azerbaijan's image under false pretext. Such vain attempts cannot derail us from achieving our noble mission to cope with the negative impacts of climate change. I'm looking forward to welcoming heads of states and governments at the World Leaders Climate Action Summit that will take place from 12th to 13th November in Baku to act together in solidarity for a green world. In conclusion, I wish you fruitful deliberations that would lead to the successful outcome in Baku next month. Thank you, Ilham Aliyev, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan.
Fake information has been circulating on social media accounts associated with the Facts internet resource, falsely claiming that weapons are being transported by air from Azerbaijan to another country. The statement by the Media Development Agency of Azerbaijan reads, "We consider the production and dissemination of such speculative information as a failed attempt to manipulate public opinion and harm the international reputation of the Republic of Azerbaijan, which regularly hosts prestigious global events. We urge our citizens and the international community to disregard such misleading information and rely solely on information from official sources." The amphibious aircraft dispatched by the Ministry of Emergency Situations to assist in combating forest fires in Turkey returned to our country. Since 18 August, the aircraft was deployed in firefighting operations in Muğla, Ula, Bolu, Gerede, Uşak, Eşme, and numerous other locations. A total of around 400 tons of water were deployed to combat the forest fire hotspots. That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye.